Welcome back, Sebastian here. So time for my review of the 2024 F2 Monza Feature Race. Pretty exciting race, definitely a very unexpected result based on the starting grid, but yeah, and some good overtaking, good battles throughout the field as well. So it started with Maloney on pole, Hadjar P2. At the first corner, Maloney gets through, stays in the lead, but Aaron and the two Red Bull cars make contact. What turns out happened was Pepe Marti basically just really misjudged the first corner, locked up, went right into the back of Aaron. Aaron spun, car probably stalled, and that was the end of his race. The other Red Bull car of Hadjar, who was on the outside of Aaron, was forced to take the runoff going into turn one, and then of course you had to go through the bollards and then lost a bunch of positions as well, and he came out P5 after that, and that of course led to a safety car. Other driver involved in that, Dennis Hauger, he had a puncture and a broken front wing, so he had to come in for repairs. Let's see, lap 2, safety car ends, so pretty short safety car to clear Aaron's car. And lap 3, Hadjar overtakes Durskin for P4. Durskin, Bortoleto as well, had a really good start. He was up to 15th from the back of the grid, and he would definitely feature later in this race. Lap 4, Behrman putting Maloney under pressure. Fittipaldi takes the runoff at turn 4 and loses a couple of positions there as well. Or it seems, I think he got a couple of those back when the timing tower readjusted itself. Lap 4, Durskin overtakes Hadjar for P4 at turn 1. Marti was given a 10-second penalty for his lap 1 crash. Lap 6, Durskin overtakes Antonelli for P3 at turn 1. So good battling, good racing for those final spots on the podium. Lap 7, Behrman, Mertens start the pit cycle, being the first drivers to pit the first lap that they were allowed. Marti then takes the long cut at turn 1. Antonelli under pressure from the cars behind, and he dips a wheel in the gravel and pits that lap after losing a position to I believe it was Durskin or Hadjar at that point. Let's see where we in lap 8. So this is where race really turned on its head. So Hauger's out. We did see what happened. So he was tapped by behind by Miata. Miata given a 10-second penalty for that collision, and that meant that Hauger was out. However, a couple drivers still had not pitted yet for their one mandatory pit stop, and this was the perfect opportunity for that. So Bortoleto, Marti for sure all pit. Marti as well had to serve that 10-second time penalty, so even though he was in that lead group, and without that penalty would have been in a great spot for the end of the race, because of that penalty which he served during his pit stop, that dropped him well down the field. So Bortoleto now takes the lead in the race for sure P2. So after starting last on the grid, excellent start up to P15 after the first couple laps, then gets quite lucky with the safety car coming out on lap 8, and then of course takes the lead of the race. Where are we? Yes, lap 10 safety car ends. Lap 11, Antonelli overtakes Durskin for virtual P5 at the restart. Coulin then misses turn 1, takes the long cut, and then also made a couple of mistakes later in the lap and falls through the field. He of course started on the medium tires, so of course he would have had a massive tire disadvantage as well at this point. Lap 13, Miney overtakes Gerther for the lead of the race again. These were two drivers who had not pitted yet, so they were still on their original set of medium tires. Martins overtakes Durskin and Antonelli for virtual P4. Lap 14, Miata, this is where he was given his 10-second penalty I mentioned earlier. It was very, very minor contact on the first initial replay. You couldn't even see that there was contact there, but the stewards will have access to a lot more camera angles than we will. Behrman cuts the turn 4 chicane and allows Correa to retake the position. Again, that wasn't really for a position, but it was Correa was one of the drivers who hadn't pitted yet, but Behrman was trying to make his way through the field. Lap 15, Behrman makes contact with Correa's front wing, so that damages that front wing there. And Bortoleto overtakes Miney for the lead of the race. Now, instead of being in the virtual lead, he has the lead, and he was in a great position to win at this point. Lap 17, Correa retires with damage. Don't know if that was related to the contact with Behrman. Even if it was, quite unlucky as the contact was very, very small. Lap 18, Maloney cuts the turn 4 battle in Goether. Lap 20, real close battle between the two Premas, Behrman and Antonelli. Lap 22, Behrman on the radio saying that Martins was basically driving in a dangerous way and it was too dangerous to try to make an overtake on him. Lap 24, Antonelli, Behrman made contact, or it looks like they made contact going down the main straight, although it's possible it was also Miata who runs the car behind. But they have a very, very close battle in turn 1 and turn 2, and Antonelli overtakes his British teammate. A bit aggressive there. Behrman probably should have backed out in the corner there. At the same time, you can argue Antonelli probably should have left a little bit more room, but that promotes Antonelli for a virtual P5. Lap 25, Doshkin overtakes Antonelli for that P5, but goes down the runoff area in turn 4 and then drops to a virtual P6 behind Antonelli. Lap 26, Antonelli passes Martin for virtual P4 at turn 1, and lap 28, Behrman, who had a bit of a rough day, would have been challenging for the podium without that poorly timed safety car, and then of course loses a couple positions battling his teammate Antonelli, and then he gets black and white flag for track limits. Doshkin then overtakes Martins for virtual P5 as well for turn 1. Great drive by the AIX driver. Lap 29, Miney finally, Petsy had just been kind of out hoping for a safety car to come, never did. But lap 30, Bordello takes the checkered flag from last on the grid, the first time that had ever happened in Formula 2 history. I would expect if you went back and included, GP2 Formula 3000, that would be the first time as well. So yeah, definitely a historic race in F2 after a crazy race in F3. So we've definitely been spoiled with our feeder series action today. So joining Bortoletto on the podium, Zane Maloney, the pole sitter, again did a great race, didn't really do anything wrong, just unlucky with the safety car. And then Versure in the Trident finished third, again benefiting from that safety car. Fourth, Antonelli, fifth, Doshkin, sixth, Martin, seventh, Behrman, eighth, Villa Gomez, ninth, Crawford, 10th, Fittipaldi, rounding out the points. And then 11th, Hadger, tough day for him. Not sure what really went wrong, as he was, in a pretty good position before the safety car. I would expect, he probably had a slow stop and then just couldn't make his way through the field. 12th, Marti, 13th, O'Sullivan, 14th, Miata, 15th, Miney, 16th, Goether, 17th, Stanek, 18th, Cordial, 19th, Kulin. I finally got his name right today. And then your three retirements are Correa, Hauger, and Aaron. Really tough day for Aaron as well. Loses big ground in the championship. Not necessarily to Hadger, as Hadger didn't get any points either, but two big rivals got big points hauls today. So Hadger is still in the lead of the championship, 165 points. Second, Bortoletto is still 100, but he moves to within 10.5 points, so 154.5 points. Turns out that Bortoletto and Hauger finished with the exact same time in yesterday's race, for basically tied for 8th place, so they decided to split that 1 point. So Bortoletto gets half a point and Hauger gets half a point, which is why that shows up the way it does. Third, Maloney, he moves up to third in the championship, 135 points. Fourth, Aaron drops down a position with 124 points. Fifth, Crawford, 105 points. Sixth, Antonelli moves up past Colapinto, who of course will be competing in the Grand Prix later today. 99 points for him. Seventh, Colapinto with 96. Eighth, Hauger, 83.5. Ninth, Miney, 74, tied with Mertens, but I believe Miney is ahead on countback. 11th, Fittipaldi, 60. 12th, Versure, also on 60. Again, I think Fittipaldi had on countback. 13th, O'Sullivan, 59, drops that position to Versure. 14th, Behrman, 50 points. 15th, Marty with 43. 16th, Doshkin, 41. 17th, Correa, 31. 18th, Cordial, 29. 19th, Miata, 29. 20th, Barnard, 18. 21st, Stanek, 14. 22nd, Villacos, 13th. And then your two debutants from this weekend, 23rd, Goether, and 24th, Coolant. So there you go. There's my review of the 2024 F2 Monza Feature Race. Pretty good race. The wheel-to-wheel racing wasn't fantastic, of course, with that safety car. Again, some people wouldn't be I know some people won't be happy with how that turns out and would have preferred that you wouldn't have such factors that are so much outside of the control of the racers themselves to really determine the outcome of the race. You could argue maybe that should have been a virtual safety car instead, and then of course they wouldn't have been allowed to pit. And again, that would have really negatively affected those drivers, as the field would bunch up. They would have to pit after, and then they would be like 20 seconds down the road from everyone else. So it's really, really tough how you play that. Again, it's something I know that race direction probably knew would happen, when that happens. But again, there's nothing that you can really do to really fix that. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.